viewers and audience who are watching, I just want to begin with a small, uh, intro about like what is Saarthi, because I'm sure people who have been viewing our post by now would know that Saarthi is like a community for siblings of children or adults with intellectual and development disabilities and other disabilities as well. So this is a community where siblings can come and share their thoughts or experiences about their journey, or even discuss their concerns and seek support. So we are glad that we complete a year now. So it's been a wonderful journey. And with all the Sibs here today, we thought that we should take this topic of a very important phase in our lives of finding a life partner. And so in our discussion today, we have put S in front of a few of our names to indicate that we're still in the process of finding a life partner, and we've put M in front of a few of our siblings' names to indicate that they have found and they have settled in their life. So today's discussion is going to be more about what are the apprehensions or fears we face as siblings when we tend to choose a life partner. Then how does our life evolve once we choose such a partner, and what is the kind of comments or opinions we get to hear from the society. So I want to start this discussion by asking all our siblings here who are settled, like what was the kind of fears or thoughts you had in your mind when you all decided to take this step. So that would be a nice starting point. Anyone from the siblings name with a tag M?
Okay, so I'll start off. Okay, so I'm Itisha and I've been like married for 4 years now. And the day when I decided, there is always a family pressure that, you are turning older and you have to get married and you start finding your partner. So the only apprehension which I used to have was at least the life partner is supposed to be understanding, even if he doesn't want to contribute to the bringing up of my brother, who is a Down syndrome case, but at least he should be supportive enough in whatever I do, in whatever initiative I take. So the only thing when I was in search of my life partner, whenever I used to meet a guy, I used to say, "See, my after marriage, my brother is gonna stay with me. If you are fine with it, we can go ahead. If you are not, it's fine." So any day he was not going to stay with me, that was for sure. But I like made it. I made it like a compulsory thing, because that understanding, if he's not able to understand that feeling, that bond of me and my brother, then I don't think that I'll be able to take it ahead with that person, right? So my parents were always into this, you why do you say like this? You should understand that till the time we are alive, we are gonna take care of him, and rest is his destiny, and whatever. So all those, emotional blackmailing used to be done by my parents. So I was like, no, uh, it is a well-known fact. Okay, till the time you are alive, he'll stay with you. That's fine. But like, what after you? What after you? What if I spend like 20 years of my life with a person, and suddenly, you two are gone, and I am supposed to take care of him, and suddenly my partner says, "No, I'm not going to stay with you." Now, what is the point of me investing those 20 years with him, for that matter, right? I will not be understanding. I would be suddenly like, मैंने किससे शादी कर ली, क्या हुआ था मेरे को इस दिन, right? So that is one thing which I made sure, that if that feeling is being taken care of, that yes, he's just a small little kid which needs attention and pampering and all, then only I'm going to go ahead with the a particular person. So fortunately, yes, I luckily got that kind of a partner only, wherein whatever my brother talks, more with him than me. So he's like in direct contact. Okay, ab kya kar rahe ho? Kya khana khaya aapne? Good morning, good night. So that understanding is there. So yes. So whenever you, my advice would be that whenever you are going out to find out a life partner, it's very important that you make sure that that understanding level is made, not for you only, but for that, that bond needs to be created between your brother and your partner as well. So till the time it's not there, then it's gonna be like either or situation for you people. So that is very important. So yeah, so that's about me.
Like, in sometimes in the process of finding, like, I'm still looking out, so many times my parents hesitate to tell the full, like, in medical terms, the medical history when they're looking out, because they will just say ha, speech delay hai, ha, matlab some social interaction mein delay, but
but
they
i would
always
but I
hold
would
back.
suggest you be very vocal about whatever disability your sibling has, because we were too. I mean, whenever the guys used to come and see me along, my brother used to be very much sitting in front of them. I
Yeah,
mean, they can observe how he is, I mean, how his outlook is, how he talks, how he eats. So they also get a glimpse, okay, this is the family we are getting associated with. If they are not proud of my brother, if they are not, they don't, they are feeling shy or they want to hide this fact of mine, then obviously I'm not ready with that. I mean, I come from a background, we have always been very vocal about our brother, and fortunately we have changed the 2-3 lives of disabled kids as well. So we have changed the mindset of their parents and families. So we were, I mean, we had that kind of impact on them. The way we treated our brother, they also started following us. So we did that. So we have been very vocal, and you should always be proud of what your sibling is, राइट. सो अल्टीमेटली किसी ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो होगा ही होगा. तो अगर मेरे पास वो दूसरा किसी टाइप का प्रॉब्लम है, यू बी प्राउड ऑफ इट, राइट? I mean,
true, correct.
no person is perfect, no sibling is perfect, so your imperfect sibling is yours only.
Correct.
I would totally agree with that, because we should. I mean, I feel if there is any new family who is not, say, exposed to any such person earlier in their lives, so there could be some initial hesitation. But what is important is, as she said, that they shouldn't feel ashamed of this fact, and which is very important for us to judge, and for even them, because if they're not, I mean, anything else is fine, but if you feel ashamed and uncomfortable of this fact, which is going to stay with you forever, and we are happy and proud of our siblings, it's not necessary that everybody is going to be as comfortable. We have to accept that some people in society are not going to be, and it's very hard to bring about a change in a, say, change is always slow, so it's going to take like ages. But
Correct.
yeah, definitely that is something that is, I would say, non-negotiable. That's a
तो
non-negotiable.
इस सिचुएशन में ना मुझे मिर्जापुर का एक डायलॉग याद आ रहा है कि फर्क ये नहीं पड़ता कि वो डिसेबल है, फर्क ये पड़ता है कि वो मेरा भाई डिसेबल है, बात खत्म. सो ही इज माइन, आई एम सपोज्ड टू टेक केयर ऑफ हिम. दिस इज द एंड ऑफ द सेंटेंस इन लाइफ.
Correct. Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah, but the other thing you also need to be very clear for yourself is what exactly are you looking for in a partner? Like, what are you bringing to the table? Because your partner is going to do exactly the same thing. Take care. I see someone, these are my minimum requirements, and vice versa. So if you're going into it not being clear yourself on this is the absolute minimum I'm willing to look for, then it creates a lot of other issues further down, because you may think the person is compatible, good looking, yeah, well, whatever your criteria may be. But unless, and I've gone through this myself, unless you're very clear yourself, it does pose problems, because your partner then, or the person you're potentially going to meet, is going to say, well, actually, I got this opinion, or I felt we were matched because you didn't say anything. So sometimes there's a wall of thinking, TK, maybe if I have this relationship, we create something, it start building into marriage, then we can have that conversation of disability. So for me, I was very clear from day one. I didn't care if it took me 10 years. I didn't care how long it may take. This is who I am. This is my criteria. And you have to say it exactly like a job description. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, it's the best way. It's very clear. This is what I want. This is who I am. Are you able to meet to the table? And one other thing I made very clear is that I see Piyush laughing there. Keep laughing. We'll have this conversation later. But see, mine was a long distance relationship. I'm based here in London. My wife was from Bombay. I made it very clear before I even came out there, you have to come to London. You have to spend time here. You have to interact with them. Only after we had, say, about 6 to 8 months of dialogue, we built up that relation. I made it very clear, look, I have two siblings, both who've got special needs. But for this to go to the next level, you have to come to London. Because not only are you marrying me and my family includes them. Where I go, they go. Where they go, I go. It's non-negotiable. It's not an option. And I had this with a lot of people. And I've even gone on dates, don't tell my parents, where...
This is Facebook Live.
Yeah, this is live now.
I was
The
just
world
going to say
knows
that.
about it now.
Luckily,
Anybody can view
Papa
it.
is not on Facebook, so it's fine. I hope. So no, I've gone, and I'm going to be very blunt with what I say here, that I've gone to meet people, and the minute they've either seen pictures or they've seen videos of them, because I wanted to portray exactly what happens, the good, the bad, the indifferent. I've had people stand up and walk away. I've had families just stand around, oh, no, we can't accept this. Well, hang on, we've had conversations previously, it was fine. Why now has it changed? So as much as it's a point of being very clear about what you want, you have to see what potentially can happen from the other side, but don't take it as a bad thing. Take it as extra freedom, because you know what? If they're reacting this way, later on when things are going to get tough, or when you were going to get married, should you get married, you know that the person's not just going to run away. So with my wife, she was like, is that all the issue is? I'm like, well, yeah, because for me, I've carried it for X amount of years. It's not a big issue. And she gets on better with them now than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that a lot of siblings who are settled now, like even you all are telling that your spouse or partner gets along better with your siblings. So we're all hoping that even we end up with such a partner, because it's actually like, how did you even deal with that insensitivity? Like you said, people just abruptly end conversations or get up and leave. So how did you deal with it?
For me, in the beginning, the first couple of times, I was like, what is going on? At least respect me enough to have that conversation. But again, from a cultural point of view, from India, a lot of it is, I wouldn't say lack of education, but it's lack of understanding. Because it's a societal thing. Societal issues from when our parents were getting married has obviously been passed down. Oh, you shouldn't talk to so-and-so, or that person is a doctor, lawyer, engineer, this one, that one, fantastic, big house, big car, America, Australia, this, that. Get rid of all that rubbish. Who is the person that is the person you're spending the rest of your life with? Do you want the big house? Do you want the green card in the US? Or do you want this and that? Or do you want someone that you get on with, that you click, that when things get tough, they're going to be your spine and support you. Or at the same time, they're going to pull you back and say, look, not right now. And you have to have these conversations. And again, it goes back to something that I spoke about earlier. It's a whole rickshaw story all over again. Out of these conversations, I wouldn't say it gets easier, but you self-empower yourself to have those more difficult conversations later on, especially about our siblings. And sometimes when I had these conversations with my in-laws that, okay, they've got special needs, epilepsy, sometimes going into the full medical terminology can be overwhelming. It's overwhelming for us. So we can't expect them to think, TK, that's fine, not a problem, Aja.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, look, this is what they have. This is how they act on a day-to-day basis. Just give them little snippets so they can slowly get comfortable with it. Because again, our parents slowly allowed us to get more and more involved in our siblings' lives. And again, it's the same sort of thing. So now my brother and my wife have their own little banter and games and stuff. And when I come in, everyone goes silent. I want to be part of the joke, but no. But there are other times where I am the part of the joke. So you have to have that open communication. And don't feel as though there isn't someone.
Yeah, very important.
Trust me, do not feel that. It may get tough, But again, the other thing is don't limit yourself to just say, for me, the South Indian community. India is a huge place. The world is a huge place. Your life partner can come from anywhere, from absolutely anywhere.
Correct. So I think this whole point on being very clear to the person you're looking forward to settle with is something. Even I think even now when say Revati, Suvi, or like we're all searching, we tend to do that, but then our parents don't seem to really agree with that point. But that's obvious because they have their
They
own
never will.
worry.
They never
No,
will.
they'll never agree. They'll never agree. They'll be in their dreamy land. Oh, my daughter should get married to a prince and all that stuff. Don't. Don't do that. Don't follow them for that matter. You just be clear, because you can see at least 10-20 years after them. Like, you know how it's gonna be after your parents are not there, right? So you have to think about that time as well. So I mean, clarity is any day more important in anything you do.
So is there something you guys like kind of क्या बोलते हैं, overthinking किया, and probably those were all not even fears, or that was not even a worry, हमने इतना क्यों सोचा था
Everything.
तब, anything
Everything.
like that, कि
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
necessarily we were putting pressure on ourselves and all these things, and the person who's coming to live with.
I think when you are trying to get married, you tend to think about all these things. ऐसा हुआ तो वैसा, वैसा हुआ तो ऐसा,
हाँ,
ऐसा हुआ तो ऐसा. Then, but ultimately, once you find the life partner, you're like, oh my god, I was so dumb, thinking about all these things. So I mean, prefer like clarity any day. That's more important. Talk. Just say, okay, this is what you're
Also,
gonna like. What is your life gonna be after you are hooked on to me? So I have a special sibling. I am special, and you will be special too. So so this is how our life is gonna be. So that is, I think,
and it's finding
more
that
important.
balance. And the thing
Yeah.
is, it's just getting clarity. With everything we do, it's our parents ask, well, why we're going into a certain profession. What is your greater why? Why are you now feeling you're at that stage to get married? If it's peer pressure, don't do it. If it's
Correct.
cultural pressure, don't do it. Because that will resonate later on to create other issues. Maybe big, maybe small. So there's a concept, I'll share it in the group, called the greater why. Why are you doing what you are doing? So
That
there's a
analysis
set
is very important, actually.
of 5 different ways. So the first answer is, why am I getting married? Oh, because I want to settle down. Okay. Why do you want to settle down? Because I want a partner. Okay. Why do you want a partner? Usually after the 5th why, and you can answer it, that's your greater why. And to go into it with that greater why being your catalyst to finding someone. And it should be as seamless as being natural. If you feel any sort of resistance, and all of what I'm saying is out of my own experience, that as natural as it comes is as natural as you're going to find someone. I'm not saying sit at home, have your chai and wait for someone to knock on the door. That ain't going to happen. Ladka coming on a goda and everything, not going to happen.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
Yeah, now we know how to ride a car as well, so we can also go out hunting.
yeah, or anything, right? But
Yeah.
again, you have to be within the game, but at the same time, you need to be clear about it, because what that does is it removes so much of this garbage of things that are going to come.
It simplifies your life, actually.
Like from something, we have the Jadagam is this, or this Rishta is this, or that is this, or Manglik and this and that. There's so much to deal with on top of culture, society, our siblings, our future, our plans, our this and that. That's why if you get very clear about what it is you want, what you see your life to be, it helps. And a friend of mine also told me it's like a shopping list, not in a bad way. This is the top priority. They've got to accept my siblings. Family orientated, loving, caring, If you're not taking every single one off, move on. It's got to be as clear as that. It may sound brutal, but it's got to be as clear as that. And it's going to go both ways as well.
Rachi, you were saying something in between. Sorry.
No, I was saying this is not just true for us. For any marriage, you are going to look for someone who thinks like you have similar thoughts. You know, you want to have that compatibility of thoughts, and you have also evolved in a certain way because you have a sibling with special needs. So, um, your thoughts have evolved, and if you, I mean, how the person is matters the most of all, and that is something you would anyways look for, right? You would look for that compatibility. So I think just taking that and goodness in a person can itself lead to finding the right person, I would say. And second thing is, I feel the acceptance, I mean, Itisha spoke about it, the acceptance that your parents have percolates into you, and the acceptance that you have and the confidence that you have with your sibling percolates into your extended family at a later date. Because when you are that accepting, nobody can come and say, oh, we cannot accept this,
Right.
because people take you as a complete package ki aisa hai inke, this is how they deal with it, and they adapt to it.
Rather, I feel like in India, marriage is an institution, as said. So, the way my parents they groomed me is like my sister is my responsibility, and she will always be. And the kind of hardships everyone has had, eventually, with their old age, my parents along with my sister would be my responsibility. So, having said that, marriage is an institution. It is always a very good thing, to tell the your better half that this is what would be the adjustment part for her if she you know eventually marries, because it is not a simple process they have to you know undergo. And probably we have spent 20, 30, 35 years with our siblings. uh, they cannot develop that kind of bond or affection within a year or two. So at times it starts with kind of adjustment, and eventually with the kind of special siblings we have, and you know their love and care, I believe the people who have that kind of understanding, they eventually, yes, they also start getting into that. But it is very necessary that we speak up very openly, and we understand few things. They can never uh, you know post marriage, they can never fulfill to 100%. The vice versa would also be true. So like we have our goals in life, that I have to do XYZ engineering, then do a job or be an entrepreneur. And the similar lines, we have to have our you know milestones or goals. And at the start itself, uh, at least I had to say that uh, like my parents are my responsibility, and they will be with us. So unfortunately, it was not the case where I had to tell my wife that my sister is there and she would also be. But setting this kind of context in the very first meet would really help. And if the person comes home, and they stay with us for maybe 2 3 hours, they see the way our siblings behave, so it is going to at least help them know, how things would eventually be. Because saying something for a moment and then living with that situation for a time or ages, it is certainly not I mean it is not that easy, I would say. So
Correct.
that's all I would have to say for other people looking. So set your expectations, like goals, very clear. And believe me, uh, just not siblings. Uh, the kind of love we have for siblings, the same we have for our parents. So I believe siblings and parents at times.
Right. Right. I agree. So I think,
Can I say something?
yeah, yeah, sure.
for everybody who's looking, right? And Priyanka, I think even you said that that you hope you find somebody that we hope. I think that's a very low benchmark. Okay, I think this should be a given for us. And I've come to think of this as such a good filter. If this is a situation that a person cannot accept, it says so much about the person. Um, we set the bar too low for ourselves. I think any nice person, any decent human being, will accept us and our siblings for who they are. And if they don't have that bandwidth, they don't deserve us. They don't deserve our families. They don't deserve the love our brothers and sisters bring to the table. They are not worthy of it, right? It's not the other way around. They don't have to accept us. We have to accept them as people. And I've had families who've come and told me, like, I mean, I've gone on dates where people have upfront asked me that mothers have poked these questions in their brains where they've said that,
Yeah.
is it genetic, or and it's ridiculous, and I laugh. And honestly, like, I tell them, and I was like, I'm very lucky that you've asked me this upfront, because had I found out about this a few dates later, I would have wasted my time. So it's great. I think the faster these mistakes happen, and I call them mistakes, it's great, because you tend to pick up on these signs much faster in your next experiences. And I think I completely agree with what Prakash said, that we don't have to settle on anything. I think we're all very ambitious people, and this is something that we're doing for ourselves and not just for our siblings. So this isn't an either or situation at all.
True.
I will
Actually,
just
Shreya,
add on.
I feel that this pressure is also from society, where they have, like, I have been hearing this from my close friends and family, that somewhere you have to compromise. I don't understand why I should compromise. I mean, is there any requirement? Is there anything less in me that I have to compromise, especially because of my sibling? So exactly what you said. If it's coming this way, this is the first red flag that we should mark and just move away from that kind of situation.
But I'm also sure these are the kind of people who don't expect you to lead independent lives, do very well in your careers. These are also people who will, like, suffocate you for your freedom. So I think this is a
Exactly.
conversation we just shouldn't entertain at all. So not happening.
Because of our sibling, we tend to find out qualities about a person which we might have overlooked in a normal scenario. Like these, because of our sibling, we're trying to find out about the character of a person and all. But probably without this scenario, we would have just gone ahead and sent ठीक है fine बाद में देखते हैं. But like all of you said, we have so many filters, like because in India that's how we search, right? Caste, फिर हमारे culture के according, tradition के according, you put 100 filters, and then in the end when you just make one point कि I'm going to be very clear about my sibling, that's when your parents start to feel very uncomfortable. They're like, हमने तो already इतने filters लगा ही लिए. But it's true. Like, and also like Shreya said, many of these questions actually come from the parents to their son, and then it comes to us. So that's how that whole chain goes. Deepti, you were trying to say something that time.
Oh, yeah. So initially, when I started out finding a prospective groom, I never had that thought in my mind that my brother is a special kid and I have to have this criteria, or there will be a certain kind of limitation from the society that you cannot go and you cannot get married. So there was never that thought in my mind, because I felt like क्यों ऐसा क्यों होना है यार, ऐसा मतलब क्यों ऐसा क्या है कि I cannot have a partner, I have to think so much. So उसके बाद what happened was, when I started like seeing some like perspective, I went on dates with certain peoples, and there is a very funny incident which happened. So my brother, he had a blackboard in our home. We have a blackboard for him. So he started out learning names of every guy I used to date with, and he used to name that guy on that blackboard. So next day he used to ask me, is this guy you're going to get married to? I was like, no, no. The next day also, so like he has this list of whoever guy I've met with. Didi has met this guy, and probably she's going to get married to him. And we never told him this thing like shadi hoti hai, then you have to get settled. But he already had this in him कि नहीं शादी दीदी की शादी होनी है उसके बाद मेरे को सेटल मतलब दीदी चली जाएगी। एंड वी नेवर लाइक ये मेरे को कभी समझ नहीं आया कि उसको कैसे पता था कि दीदी को जाना है एक दिन और शादी होनी है। तो आई फेल्ट लाइक आदि ऑलरेडी हैड दैट मेच्योरिटी इन हिम कि नहीं, दीदी को एक दिन जाना है और एक दिन दीदी चली जाएगी। And he was like at time he used to tease me like, why are you not getting married to this guy? I like him. I'm like, okay, I'll think about it. So initially I went on with certain dates and we did not like मेरे फैमिली में पहले तो ऐसे मतलब we just did not included Adi in the discussion initially. As in with the society, we never told like Adi को भी बताना है and all. तो पहले तो I used to go for myself only कि मुझे अगर वो लड़का अच्छा लगा, then we'll proceed and tell everything about Adi and all. Otherwise, we will not proceed with the match itself because इतने सारे filters होते थे and I had certain thing in my mind कि नहीं the अगर कोई बंदा ढूंढ रही हूँ तो वी शुड हैव दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड इट शुड बी एक्सेप्टेबल कि बाद में मेरे को आदि का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना पड़ सकता है। तो ही शुड हैव दैट maturity to deal with it. So as I say, I started seeing a lot of matches and also this thing was like I was a manglik. So there was already a thing like nahi manglik ladka dhoondna hai, so this thing was always there in me. Then uske baad caste and then whatever the filter is out, as you all said, like Priyanka said and Shreya said, like lot of filter in there. तो मुझे भी ऐसा लगता था यार मतलब क्यों इतना फिल्टर, एक तो इतना फिल्टर है। तो एट टाइम्स यू थिंक यार लड़के मिलेंगे भी नहीं, अगर मिलेंगे भी, अगर अच्छा लड़का मिलता भी है तो इतने सारे फिल्टर्स में दे ऑल गेट लॉस्ट समवेयर। तो initially when I met my like husband like Saurav, so I got married last year November. तो मैं जब सौरभ से मिली and initially I told Saurav and we met through a common friend and then we started talking to each other and I told him about Adi and I felt like he was really very accepting about it. He really told me like I'm very he started caring for Adi more than what I do. He started telling me about these practices, there are practices like I don't know if you people know about pranic healing and all. So this is a practice where you heal like people with the help of energy. So he started telling me concept about this, like ऐसे आदि को heal कर सकते हैं. He was more invested in Adi than I was in him. Like I was like, yeah, सही है मतलब. And also I was really getting a good vibe from him, a good feeling from him. Okay, this is like destiny and this is going to be, because initially when I met him, there were all the checklists which never used to match with any of the guy. अगर मैं किसी लड़के से मिलती थी, there has to be some problem which arise and I'm happy that that arise at that moment because हमारा होना नहीं था. अगर हो जाता तो that would have been a very regretful decisions of my life. तो ऐसा जब मैं सौरभ से मिली तो the first match was कि Saurav was Manglik, I was Manglik. And that was really very shocking because we met through a common friend. And the first question I asked Saurav, you know, this is all fine, but my family is very concerned कि लड़का मांगलिक होना चाहिए, लड़का कल्चर ब्राह्मण होना चाहिए and all this. And I just threw me hit mom कि पहले तुम ये हो, पहले तुम ये हो, तभी मैं शादी करूंगी, नहीं तो मैं नहीं करूंगी. I told him, are you Manglik? And like I came to know, yeah, when I came to know he's a Manglik, he's a Brahmin, he's from my caste, and like everything which I am looking for in a partner is exactly what it is him, and every vibes. I never got this vibes from anyone, any of the guy I met till date. So I trust in vibes. If the vibes is good, if you feel that person is really very accepting, if you feel that that person is invested in you like you do, he's invested in your dreams, he's invested in what you want to do, he's not like suppressing you in something which you should not do. If he's very accepting, I feel that is the way you should go about it. And talking about family and friend pressure, I think my parents were very cool about it. They never had this thing कि तुम्हें ये responsibility लेनी है. But I was there कि नहीं मम्मी मेरे को आदि का ख्याल रखना है. If something happens, I will be there with Adi to look after him. But my family was always नहीं यार, because we are 3 sisters and I am the eldest one. And after that, I have 2 more sisters like Shruti and तृप्ति. So I was like मम्मी बोल रही थी तुम बड़ी हो सबसे, तो एक जन की एटलीस्ट शादी करवा दे, उसके बाद हम सोचेंगे कि दो की और की कैसे शादी करवानी है, बिकॉज वी हैव लॉट ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है ना, इसकी आदि तो है ही, बट 3 और हो, तुम्हारी शादी करानी है, उसकी शादी करानी है. तो आई कुड अंडरस्टैंड वेयर दे वर कमिंग फ्रॉम, बिकॉज द काइंड ऑफ प्रेशर दे हैड कि 3 लड़कियों की शादी करानी है, उसके बाद भाई है, भाई का भी ख्याल रखना है. तो आई हैड टू जगल बिटवीन बोथ ऑफ देम. And me settling abroad, like going to going to US and then settling with Saurav and not staying in India, that was like a very big decision. But I just went with the flow. I felt like I now feel I did a good decision now. And the kind of fear which I had in mind, I had fears like, what if mummy papa nahi hai, and then I'm not able to take care of others. This is a sort of fear which was already there like there in me. But there were times I had to stay away from Adi when I was in India for my job purpose also. Like I used to work in Hyderabad, I used to work in Chennai. I had to, for my job purpose, I had to relocate a lot of time. So Adi always already in that phase कि नहीं दीदी रहती है बाहर. तो he had already accepted कि नहीं दीदी रहती है, कभी कभी कॉल पे बात हो जाती है, तो उस समय उतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ. एंड ऑल्सो द फैक्ट दैट आई हैड 2 more sisters जो उनका ख्याल रख सकती है आदि का, तो मेरे को उतना सोचना नहीं पड़ता था कि ठीक है मैं नहीं हूँ तो वो देख लेगी, मैं नहीं हूँ तो वो देख लेगी.
Speaking, I just remember what Sachi has told us always कि पहले खुद को prioritize करो, don't overthink. एक time आएगा when you'll have to be there for your parents, and that time you will obviously pitch in. So, I mean, from all these anecdotes and stories, like do you guys relate, Revti, Shreya, Suvi, Sharon? Like when you guys are searching, do you also face similar, fears? It does it still continue, like matlab, the kind of fears, or is there something different? What do people think? Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah, so I think the points which all the fellow siblings made were valid, but I think I have 2 major things which I am really scared of. One is that there are some proposals which have come for me wherein the guy was understanding and all, but in my perspective, I always look for a guy who's ambitious. I mean, understanding for, in per se of understanding my brother's condition and the fact that I will be there for my brother after my mother's time. That all was fine, but then at the same time, how important is my lookout in my partner? Because everybody keeps telling me ki compromise kar lo, kyunki if he's understanding wo bas hai, that should be your priority. Not, your things are not, should not be that important. But I feel like, as all the siblings said, ki don't compromise on what you are as a person. Because if I am ambitious in life, if I want to move ahead in life, with the fact that Roshan is there with me, uh, I would want to look in that sibling lens. So for me, that has always been a question mark. कि ठीक है, understanding शायद मिल जाए. I would find a good person, but will I find that person who is compatible with me? That is like one big question mark I always
So
have.
don't compromise for that. Okay, get married when you are completely ready. When your heart, mind, body, soul, everything are in sync. Okay, don't get married otherwise. If you are not satisfied with the choice of a person in front of you, do not go for it. That is one point. And I just want to add one more thing, that we all siblings have been talking very positive about our partners. We are so happy with our partners, but remember, there's always a flip side to it. Okay, you might find an understanding partner, you might find somebody whom you are you are attracted towards, right? Okay, but then there are many cases wherein after a couple of years of marriage, even after having a child, 10-15 years of marriage, the person is like frustrated somewhat, and he comes up, I don't want to take this responsibility anymore. So for that, I really want to advise you girls, do not compromise with your financial independence. Please do not leave your job. Please do not sit at home and say, oh, I've got my dream husband and I want to be, sitting at home and doing nothing. Don't go for it. Please do not. It's a big no, 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 no.
Excellent
Okay.
point. Appreciate.
And for the males, I want to add on, you have got your dream partner, the girl is very nice, she's getting along with your siblings really well, that's fine, but do not be 100% or solely dependent on her as well, because ultimately your siblings are your responsibility, not of somebody who has come out from some other family, right?
Right.
So don't put on that burden on your partner as well. They are your responsibility. Please do take care of it. Do not lose your financial independence, because that's really important.
I totally agree, because there are times, in some matches they've asked me, can you tell us what would be the estimated financial cost we'll have to bear for your sibling? And obviously, I don't know what to reply for such things, because I don't estimate. Okay,
No,
so
please don't
Like,
try to
Yeah,
Oh,
separate.
but
I mean,
that's so
it's
cool, yeah.
impossible to
I
make this estimate.
yeah,
yeah.
I
so
mean,
Tell
that's when I
tell them you
reminded.
give me
how
your
do
year's
you
salary and
answer?
I'll put it in the Excel sheet and I'll tell them how much my
So that is why
costing
I
would be.
completely agree with your point, and that's when even I realized that चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, I have to work. I need to have my resources, because at the end of the day I need a partner. I cannot ask them to pitch in with funds, and obviously, I mean, you never know what will be the scenario, but
Exactly. It's not about earning a lakh of rupees or a crore of rupees. Even if you'll earn 10,000 rupees, more than enough. But
exactly
it's just that you must earn. You should have that independence.
true,
So
correct.
I
why
think
should
it's
a monetary
that
point of
third
view
person
come into
point
the
of view.
I
conversation?
Sorry, someone's speaking.
Yeah, why should monetary come into the
no,
conversation?
basically,
No, I think it's because they fear that right now, our sibling is being taken care of by our parents, mostly, in most cases. It could be our mom or dad, but over the years, that might not be the case. And we will definitely be the primary caregivers, no matter where we are. We could be away, like abroad or in India. So it strikes them that what will happen then. But as you said, if the person is good, if the person's intentions are good, then automatically this should not even come
Correct,
in.
because look, anything can happen in life, right? As we've seen with so many different things since we've all been born. If someone is coming into it with the notion in their head that monetary wise, male or female, makes no difference, that Tika, this is their average running cost. Should something happen and that average running cost go above that, are
Correct.
they still going to be standing behind you, regardless of what happens? Like last September, my sister fractured her femur. I spent 10 nights sleeping on a hospital floor, and this is in the UK. Where was my wife? She was standing right behind my parents to make sure that everything got done. 4 years ago, I had to have open heart surgery suddenly, very unexpected. Where was she? She went to work. From work, she came to the hospital. From the hospital, she came home, made sure mom and dad were there. At no point have we ever brought up the financial topic, because it's more about compatibility, partnership. That is what it's always been. If finances come into it, okay, we'll deal with it when we come to it. We'll find a way.
Right.
Because together we're stronger. But
हाँ, वो
if
कहते हैं ना पैसा हाथ का मैल, it comes and goes, so you cannot
exactly,
consider that into it.
Exactly.
And such situations can not only happen to our
Your
siblings,
voice is
it
not clear.
can happen to
Suvi, your voice is
so
breaking.
is it, am I audible now?
Yeah.
yeah,
Better.
Is it better now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying that such situation is something that can happen to us also. It's not just related to our siblings, and a medical emergency can happen to anyone in future. What will you that who's going to take care of the finances?
Yeah, no, I
exactly.
just gave that as an example that, because when Itisha told, this is what I remembered from one of my one of the meetings. I mean, I felt that very insensitive, but true. I mean, thank God I never went ahead with that. So, do Purvaj and Tatiana, like, do you guys also share these kind of experiences? Like, we would also like to hear from you, like any of your experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Yeah, to begin with, actually, I didn't have any apprehensions like what will, what will be my partner, if will she able to bond with my sister, because I was very, very clear, because I share a very different bond with my sister, and it's different. So I mean, I, there shouldn't be a situation where your partner needs to compromise or try to adjust with your sibling. They should naturally bond with them as you do and your family do. So that was my viewpoint. And for that to happen, a very important point for me is inclusion. For me and my family both. So if there is inclusion in at home, so if your life partner sees that the way you include your sibling, how you treat them, that is the way they will treat them. So, and I don't see disability as a disability. I see disability as a different ability. So whether it be Down syndrome or autism, anything, it's not a disability. I just see it as a different ability. So the most important thing for me and my family, which we have always believed and will always believe in the future as well, is inclusion. Just like it is said that charity begins at home, the same way inclusion begins at home. So if you don't care about if you and your family don't care about your sibling, then why would anyone else care, let alone your life partner? Why would anyone else care about them? So yeah, I was very clear in my mind. And you know luckily me and my family, my friends, my parents friends, everybody, they accepted my sister just the way we do. My sister studied in a normal school. She has her own friends now. Her friends are very, very supportive, and her friends, when she is in a environment, then people can't forget her. People search for her. Where is Palak? Where is Palak? We need her. We need to talk to her. So it's like, it's just a way what you behave with your siblings, it will be the same way what others will behave.
Right. We
So
shouldn't
yeah,
necessarily.
inclusion is the main important thing which we have believed and will always believe. So yeah, that's the most important thing.
Totally agree.
So I just wanted to add, I've been listening to everyone and sort of all your different experiences and stories. And I wanted to share that I got married last year. My sister sadly passed away 5 years ago. In 2005, when I was 21, I left India. It was the hardest thing that I had to do. But because I was interested in science and I wanted to train as a neurobiologist, I had to leave. There were very little options in India, all those years back. Things have changed today, but spending 11 years in Britain, it was one of the hardest things I've done, but it was also something that I had to do for me. So I think the person that has been championing sort of in our sibling group of not compromising when it comes to yourself is Prachi, and I think that I would definitely second that. It's very important to do something for yourself. It's been 4 years now since I came back. It took me about a year after my sister passed away to come back to India. And where the marriage topic is concerned, every time that there was either this discussion at home or I met somebody liked me, and I felt like it was going to an extent where it could get serious, I would basically turn and run the other way as fast as I could. I never wanted to get serious with anyone, and I think I was way too focused just on making sure that my sister was going to be provided for. And I think financial independence, as you all have mentioned, is one of the most important things that was something that was in my mind as well. My mom and dad were struggling to make ends meet. My sister was on several different tablets. It would cost basically anywhere between 20 to 25,000 a month just with doctor's visits and everything else. And being a scientist in India, in those days, like probably 15 years ago, you wouldn't get paid that much. So then to sort of support yourself, the only option was going abroad. And the plan was never to come back to India. The plan was to take my sister away because I didn't really find that Mumbai. Obviously, we are from Goa, but we born and brought up in Mumbai. never really offered anything in terms of vocational training for adults above the age of 18. And my sister was basically homebound. We had to literally beg of people and vocational centers, please take her, please take her. And they would be like, no, she's too aggressive, or no, there is this problem, and no, there is that problem, and please don't bring her to the to the school picnic, or the picnic that you're sort of they would sort of take everyone to. There was never any plan to come back, and it was very unfortunate that the same month that we actually had filed in her papers, at the end of that month is when she passed away very unexpectedly. And the year that happened was, I think, the darkest year of our lives, because for us, Verushka was like the sun for, and it's the same for all of y'all as well. Your life revolves around them, and even if you're far away, trying to educate yourself, be financially independent, such that one day you can be reunited and help your parents, look after your sibling. When that's taken away, you suddenly have all this time and this brain space that you don't know what to do with it. And I actually was wondering, I found the silence in the UK very deafening. I didn't know what to do with my time. And I felt like I needed to come back to India, to the hustle and bustle and the madness here, and think, okay, maybe that would fill the void, but it's not like as if that did it. And it was only when I came back, and this is where I sort of wanted to tell all of you aspiring sort of girls and guys who are looking to settle down, that I think the most important thing is taking a leap of faith. I think it was a couple of months after I came down to India, and my family said, now your sister's gone, and you need to now find some sort of meaning in life. I was working at TIFR at the time, and they said, look for a companion. You don't need a boyfriend, you don't need a partner, but look for a companion. And I came to know of this sort of website. It was called Christian Matrimony, which is very silly, because me and my husband now, we are raised Catholics, but we are not good practicing Catholics. We are the outstanding Catholics that go to church, for Easter and Christmas. We don't sort of go, every Sunday. And it just so happened that we met on this site. And so I thought that, you guys should know this, because nowadays things have changed, and getting to know someone through a friend like Dipti did, was not obviously the case for all of us. And I
Correct.
guess being a scientist, spending hours and hours and hours sitting in a dark room with a microscope, you are not really finding the time to get out and meet somebody in the pub or wherever. So we met on this site, and there were a lot of apprehensions. And he is the reason why I was actually able. It was real depression, and I came back because I didn't want to lose my parents. They had taken it really badly as well, and the three of us needed to find some meaning, and that is when we set up, Verushka Foundation. And my husband now, it's been 4 years, and he's basically given up his career, and he helps me to run the foundation full time. I don't think I ever expected that. Sometimes I find that I have no words for the sacrifice that he has made, because it's like, Verushka would have been like his sister-in-law, and she's no longer even there. But, just the fact that her memory is alive and we are sort of doing that for her is where he feels that, he can commit. And it was interesting that all the years that we were running the foundation, all our bachus, they're all adults above the age of 18, would sort of, they were attached to me, and now they are attached to him. And they look at me and say, oh, where is Rohan sir? And I'm like, but what about me? And so that was, I feel like that apprehension that I had, those filters that that all of you all spoke about. I think that sometimes we really do overthink. Sometimes we don't take a leap of faith. Like Shreya mentioned, I think we tend to always think that what is less is good enough for us. And I think that is where we make a mistake, because you never know who you're going to meet and how you're going to meet that person, and you never know how your life is going to turn out. Everything is so unpredictable. One day you're here, next day you're not. So I think it's about, sort of always staying positive and basically you have to be in the dark to find the light, and I think that is what happened with me. And I think I'm sort of really blessed that I am in this position, and we have a 4-month-old baby boy. Actually, he was just awake. I thought I would get him on the camera, but he's gone to sleep. We've sort of dealing with parenthood, and dealing with the foundation, and also getting to know each other. And there are moments, like for example, my mom once mentioned it to Rohan, and he took a lot of offense to it, because she said, the thing is, you were never really tested. She says, my son, you were never really tested, because Verushka was gone before you married, when you married my daughter. And he said, but how do you know? Because you guys have these filters within y'all, that y'all don't take the step forward. How would you know whether the other person or the other party was willing to accept? So I think it's about, I never wanted to sort of have someone look for someone for me, like a proposal. I think I wanted to find someone on my own when I felt ready. So I did get married at the age of 35, and I successfully completed my doctorate, my postdoctorate at Cambridge, set up a foundation. And I think that, yeah, it's a bit too late. Probably one can argue that, we have a 4-month-old, and when we are 60, he's going to be really young. So there's always that. But I think it's, like I said, it's about being positive and taking a leap of faith, and, sort of always remembering that there is someone out there for you. It's a matter of finding that person and doing it yourself. I think for me, that was very important, is doing it yourself.
Right. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No, continue.
just wanted to add one thing. It's a very similar thing. Like I lost my elder sister in 2007, got married in 2008. We had a baby in 2013. So ideally, my wife has never seen my sister, and as most of you are aware, she was mentally retarded and a very severe case, plus physically handicapped. So probably uh, those who have seen her were obviously very afraid. But the good thing that I wanted to share is my son is now 8 years old, and it has been the case now. Today in the morning, I and my son, we had been to Umed Parivar, where my wife says that now it's time you take Sahil and let him spend time with all mentally retarded children, spastic children, and he should know, he should understand. It's not like always school friends. These are his siblings or his things. So it's a very happy feeling. Probably I will not be able to express. It is a big surprise because the way I've told, like she hasn't seen my sister. She hasn't actually interacted much with such kind of children, but even the kind of support she gives, saying that our son at his 7 or 8 years of age, he should go and mingle with them, and it is more of fun and happiness. So that's a great joy for me.
That's really nice.
It's a good thing. I feel miracles happen. I won't say this is a miracle or something, but yes, it happens. It's the kind of bond within the family you develop amongst yourself down the line.
But
So yes,
Nandan,
good story as well.
finding a dream partner is indeed a miracle. An ideal partner, it is indeed a miracle.
हाँ.
Right.
Yeah.
All your stories are making us so hopeful. I mean, it has left us all with positive vibes. At least I can say that.
Remember the dialogue from Shawshank Redemption, hope. Very nice.
Absolutely, that's a
I
wonderful
love it.
movie, and truly the right definition of hope.
All
I
is
think
well.
I think
Yeah.
yeah. And that's
But one thing is important: hope for the best,
So,
but be prepared for the worst.
Obvious.
Right?
वो ना
Yes.
नहीं वो अभी के लिए ठीक है.
And I
मतलब
appreciate
आराम
that
से मेरे नए
point
कपड़े.
of financial independence.
इतने बीड्स वगैरह निकल जाएंगे यार. You held it like that. That's why I told you.
So actually, there should be certain kind of questions that come from the single ones. if you have a, anything specific. I mean, yes, sharing these experiences, these will be, changing one to one, but listen to, yeah, please.
Agree.
Hello.
Pranisha, you were trying to say something. We couldn't get you. Are you there? Yeah. You're on mute again. Mute, mute.
No, I was just reading the chats and by mistake I raised a hand option.
No,
But
you can
yeah.
share your experience, of course. We would love to hear.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm Frenisha and I'm sister to Neha. She's an autistic child. We are three siblings. And while we were just discussing, I was just taken back by the points made by Shreya. Tatania, of course, she's the queen of all times, but and even Priyush for that matter. That whenever we try to get into a relationship, clarity is important, but giving the front person time is equally important. And it can be used for your advantage and also for learning a red flag. So I was just 25 years old and I was not into marriage and things like that. And my dad bought me a proposal and I blindly gave in. My first criteria and the only criteria was my sister Neha. That's it. So we got engaged, in fact. And before engagement, when he used to come home, and like he used to try being all pally with Neha because of obvious reasons, like he wanted to get my attention, he wanted to get the approval of it. But right after engagement, there were certain very noticeable red flags, like Neha, if you just keep a phone in front of her, she will come close to you and she would want to pout. So she feel like phone is only for taking selfies. So he started making some sentences like, oh, I think she's sexually attracted to me. And always, his mother used to keep on nudging, like, okay, what is it, but you can't keep your kids and special sibling together, because then when your kids look at the siblings, they don't look at them as a special person or like a person with a different ability. They look at them as an adult, and they will always take this thing of, like, oh, they are so stubborn, they are so this, they are so after engagement. And I come from Virar. So Virar is a place where, you still have the village mentality. For a girl to get engaged, it's like you're half married. And I had to take a decision that I have to lay down this relationship, which was very depressing, which was very deep. And people who don't have kids or siblings, they will never understand your point of view, that why would you put down a relationship? for for them it's just like, अरे that is तो petty thing यार, थोड़ी ना वो तुम्हारे साथ lifelong रहने वाली है. There were people with the audacity to even tell me, such kids na, they don't live for long, so keeping that in mind, you can't take a lifelong decision. So today I'm in the position where I think back and sometimes I smile, sometimes I just feel like there is lack of education and knowledge in the society regarding to this kids. But at that time, when I was facing that situation, I was embarrassed. But yes, our siblings, as Shreya said, like people even who talk without having bones to their tongue, they show up like what they actually are. And it speaks a lot about a person when they have to accept your special sibling. And I believe that everyone of us also have abnormalities, like some of us have bad anger, some of us have alcohol problems, some of us have, there are various problems. But only when the moment you have this, like an adult with autism or a Down syndrome or a difficult thing, they will make a big deal out of it, and they want to put you in a corner as if you're nothing. So give it time, have the clarity, give front person. I'm married to Russell, and as Ishita and there are so many siblings who've been talking about. Now Neha is more inclined towards Russell than what she's towards me. even when they are sharing a cozy afternoon, like nicely sitting in the sofa and like having their TV time and all of that. So they don't. So she doesn't want me to like just come and interfere and like, Neha, come on, it's time to sleep, or it's time to like have your food, or like she doesn't want me to dictate her when Russell is around. So she is like, okay, like and even Russell is quite protective about her. But I gave them time. There were misunderstandings before, so sometimes it's like people like as Priya, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused with the names,
No problem.
but someone made a point that we need to give them time because we have stayed with our siblings. Like I got married at the age of 29, right? So I was with Neha for 29 years. So I already know how it is, and like what are her mood swings and what will like make her feel motivated and what will demotivate her. But for Russell, it was like sometimes he's too like like, okay, let me just correct her, like correct in the sense like it's for her betterment, it's for her knowledge. But then you have to sit your partners down at times and you have to make them understand that there is no two-person to this person. She is what she is. You can't make any improvement. Of course, there are improvements with time and with that kind of rapport what you build with
Also
them.
behavioral improvement. Like,
Yes, yes. But you can't like expect, like even sometimes my mom and dad, they make a statement, that Frenny, you're becoming too pally with Neha and you're spoiling her. But it's not the spoiling part of it. The way she responds to me is just because of the rapport I have built with her.
right, right.
So it's like that. So yeah, like all the best to all the single siblings, whoever is finding out their perfect match. It's both the ways. It's like give and take. So you have to give the knowledge, you have to take the responses, but be patient with yourselves because the main filter for us is our special siblings. If
Right, right.
things work, if they work. If they don't, then just like let go of that person in a very smiling and a happy way.
I think the discussion did like kind of like as all of you said, it did give us a perspective of what we are thinking, whether it's right or wrong. And I think we're all on the right track as far as keeping our siblings on priority. Like
Yes.
Shreya said, we should never hope for less. We cannot compromise. Like what
We should.
society tells us, we cannot. But the last thing which I wanted to cover was that like sometimes you and your partner may be on the same page, okay, as far as your siblings are as far as your sibling is concerned, but there's always an opinion from society. It could be their parents, it could be the partners, relatives. They will put in questions, they will put in some or the other. They would have heard from someone, then they'll come and tell you. So how do you deal with that aspect? Like what do you do when society tries to put their assumptions of thoughts into this?
The lovely question, Priyanka, lovely question. The reason why I said that was no matter you have a special sibling or no, the society will always nudge in. They will have something to speak about you, even if you have a normal sibling. And, like, if that child is going out or she's wearing short clothes or she has n number of boys as her friends. So, when it's a special sibling, they already have more point to nudge. Since I just got married in December, throughout the entire crowd, my eyes were only on Neha. You know why? Because people would exactly come to me and, oh, you look so cute today. But look at Neha. She's so fair. She's so beautiful. But, like she's so unfortunate.
Right,
And that makes you understand. So you're mentally not equipped to deal with all such comments because you don't need any sympathies because these people, they won't even provide one time food for you and your siblings. So you need to have your
Absolutely.
self-esteem and your self-confidence in place. You need to know who you are and what your sibling is, and you need to again prioritize that bond. The moment you realize that how beautiful and how unique that bond is, no matter who tells you what, it is not going to affect you.
yeah, because sometimes I feel that society will slightly subtly put it in that, oh, someone hopefully takes care of her, God takes care of her.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm there, I'm still there. So
No, there are people who walked up to my mother and they said like, maybe there is a sin in your house that your that your daughter was punished.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So, and the other thing was someone had asked you about the finances. So we had a party who came. I call them party because they are coming to do a business, right? They're not coming for a relationship. It's like a give and take thing. I don't know what they have in their heads, but we have a person ask, कितना मेंटेनेंस लगता है? तो मैंने बोला सर आप जो मर्सिडीज चलाते हो उससे तो कम ही लगता है, बट वो भी हम लोग देख लेते हैं, देखते ही आ रहे हैं, so you literally want to punch people in their faces, but
I think
just
they don't realize that they are being insensitive by asking these things. They
yes,
just say it
Oh, like
without
all
even
of
thinking.
said,
Yeah, they don't have a
they've
filter.
grown up with our sibling, right? I mean, they don't have a person like our sibling in their lives. But again, that doesn't give them the right to be so insensitive.
yes,
But again,
yes.
Pallavi, you were saying you wanted to say something.
Yeah, actually, I've been trying to say something like, can you hear me? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
okay, okay. So I was just going to ask all the married sibling one thing, and that is what I have felt till now, is that my apprehension is that how to get my parents on board with my decision. Like I am strong within myself that I have this criteria, I have this filters, and I am not going to back down. I have put my foot down, but my parents are on a different mindset. So my mother and me, I had a discussion against this marriage of my own reasons, but now that things are moving in that direction, तो सोचना पड़ता है कि क्या हो सकता है क्या नहीं हो सकता. So she was like, why are you so against about it? We will find you a really nice guy, we won't force you or anything. But none of where she mentioned my brother. Like we will find someone who will accept your brother, who will accept us. She was only adamant on finding me a right suitable boy. So my point is that how to change, like we can change it obviously, but
how
how
to
to
get your parents on board, basically.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
so can I say something in this? My mom, before getting married, I always found her very insensitive, towards my sister. I would always find like she's taking her for granted, or she's not trying to understand what Neha is trying to communicate, or Neha is of no importance to my family. Okay. But today that I'm married, Pallavi, and now that I'm having a kid and I'm thinking about responsibilities, and like, this question often arises that what if you have a child with a Down syndrome, or what if you have a child with abnormalities and all of that? I literally gave that thought a thought process, a special child takes a lot of effort. They take out a lot of mental, how do I put it? It's a mental and a physical and a financial responsibility. Okay. And our parents have been through that journey. So, being a normal human being, see, they are our siblings, we have grown with them. But even they have come into our parents' life after 20 to 30 years, right? When they got married and when they had that child. So it is kind of difficult for them to, like, put that burden on us, thinking that, okay, even like how we were burdened, even if our children are burdened, they will not live a normal life, or they just won't be happily married, or they will always have that back of their mind. So according to me, sit them down, communicate, have them speak, like, and please tell them, like, dad, mom, please respect what my intentions are. Okay, I want to be a part of y'all even when I'm married and I'm a part of that other family, and that will help, but it will only come with time. So don't feel bad, they just want the best for you. But again, since we are so inclined towards our siblings, it's our responsibility that we make them sit down and we make them understand what it is.
Prakash, you were trying to say something at that time, and I think I just cut you across to ask Pallavi something. You were trying to say something.
No. I mean, just to go on what's just been said again, it like many of the topics that we've covered today, it's just communication. Just be very clear about what you want. There's no right or wrong about it. Our parents are obviously looking at it from a perspective that they've entered into it from. Things have changed. If you're able to sit down and show them the differences and show them the possibilities that can arise, positive, then you're going to win. Either way, it's not about winning or losing. It's just having that open, frank conversation with them. Say, look, this is where society, culture, or the world is today. Society will always find something to start pecking at you about. Oh, this is not done, this is not that. Culturally, you'll always have. If it's not that, it'll be people within your group. Ignore that. What do you want? This goes back to what I said at the beginning. Just be very clear about it and be willing to take that time to have those conversations with your friend circle, with your parents, with other siblings that you may have. The more conversations and the more they get used to you having these very frank adult conversations, the more they'll start looking at you from a different perspective. Parents will always be parents. I met my wife through TamilMatrimony.com. I always said I will never find someone via an online site. Look what happened, right? You never know where you're going to meet someone. But from a parent's point of view, my father at one point didn't like someone I brought home. I will not attend your wedding. Fine, you're not going to attend. Off you go.
But do you all think like there is a difference between like a girl or a boy, like dimensions when you decide on a marriage or proposal or something? No. Like the difference is
right, because like Nandan said that his parents told him that your sister is your responsibility. We don't get to hear this. We are told like no, you have to settle in your life, you have your own life, we'll take care of them, you don't have to worry. So there is
we don't even get that topic.
I think we assume ourselves, like from the beginning, I have always thought of this, that Vinayak is my responsibility. Nobody has to tell me this. I've accepted that myself.
It needs to come naturally.
We have accepted the thing that our parents cannot see us like that. But I feel is that because girl, maybe they think like that. And what I feel, it's not that I might be wrong also. But that's why I'm asking, is there any kind of difference between a girl and a boy?
Yes. See, I'll tell you, I don't want to offend any men on this chat or something, but we Indians, we come with a mentality that it's always a girl who has to adjust. It's a girl who enters the new family. It's a girl who marries. Like we are loaded with so many responsibilities that everything changes. But how a boy speaks is, okay, these are my parents, they are old, you have to be taking care of them, these are the things, like for example, I'm an air hostess, and I had people telling me that after marriage you cannot fly, you have to be at home, so please find a corporate job and everything. So girls have to be more vocal, like as Nandan's parents had told him, like your sister is your responsibility. The problem with the Indian parents is also like when we send our daughter, we don't want this added responsibilities to her because शायद से वो interfere कर सकता है उसके marriage life में. So that's why you have to be more vocal. And again, the communication is the key. Like my first thing was, I have a sister. So I have been on dates where I really like the guys, but I was like, okay, since I've started liking you, I need to tell you that I have a sister who's an autistic child and she's my first baby and she'll always be my priority. So some people were comfortable, some people weren't comfortable. It's all up to them. But you have to be vocal about what you want. Please be self-confident, Pallavi, and just write it down, like, and just keep on reading it like self-affirmations. That might help you because sometimes we are so scared since our parents are also not supporting us that we tend to forget our priorities and we have this बाद में देख लेंगे वाला attitude. That बाद में देख लेने वाला attitude कभी नहीं चलता है. If you want it, you need to have it right now.
Right.
Yeah, and there's nothing that can stop you. See, I made it very clear. I think it was the first time I met my wife. After we get married, should this go that distance, you can continue to do whatever you like. I want you to, even though you moved to London, I will make sure that you will go and see your parents as often as you feel you need to see them. You want to see them every month? Go see them every month. You want to go work? Go work. You want to stay at home and watch TV? Entirely up to you. But this is what I'm bringing. So if that fits into your realm and everything that you want out of life and out of family, great. I was
think
very clear from day one.
I think
And
the society thing which Pallavi was mentioning, I actually faced a similar incident like a couple of weeks back. I went for the legal guardian certificate documentation. So the first thing the social welfare justice person asked me was like, so why do you want to be your brother's guardian? Your brother has a mother. My dad had passed away almost 3 months back. So you still have a mother, but why do you want to be a legal guardian? So I said that from the beginning, I always knew when I was 4 and my brother came into this world, and at 6, when I was 6, he was diagnosed that he is going to be my responsibility. And my parents never made me feel also that he's your responsibility. She always told that he's your son, he's your younger brother. Just take it like that. Don't think it's a responsibility. Just enjoy that time with him. So that AD kept on asking me like, so why do you want to be the legal guardian? So my mother said that I trust my daughter that she's going to take care of him after my time. I said, what about your daughter's unmarried? That's okay. But when she gets married, will a guy come in and then will he object the fact that you are planning to be I mean, she's planning to be your son's legal guardian. So I told my mom, I just assured my mom that day. And I think that was the apprehension she had all these years, but she never disclosed with me. But that was the day I actually told her that, see, mom, I don't care if any guy comes up and tells that I'll marry you, but you cannot be your brother's legal guardian. And he comes up and tells something like that, I'm just going to reject the guy straight up.
So I think
Because
the tone of the discussion has mostly been about like being very upfront and communicating. Be it with
exactly.
your family, be it with your partner, be it with your partner's family. I think not shying away from your responsibility or your time with your sibling, whatever you
Right.
want to term it as. I think we should not do that. And before even we bring up our sibling as a point in the discussion of, finding a partner, I think like how what Prachi, Shreya has been telling, we need to put our own criteria first, like finding a good person. You might have your own wishes, and we should not negate that just because we have a sibling. Because again, she or he is just a human being with a condition which cannot be possibly cured, and that's it. There's no more weight to that, and so we should also not focus too much and overthink on those aspects and concerns and the way say uh, Prachi or Nandan have thought. I think we all still continue to think that way. And like Pranisha said, no matter what the society says, you have to be proud about your sibling. No one else is going to feel that way. And you cannot make them feel so also. So, with that, I think we can conclude today's discussion. If any of you want to add on a closing note, welcome. But otherwise, I think we can end today's discussion. I actually have to thank all of you all because I don't think we've had such a nice discussion.
Yeah,
So many people involved and so many experiences we've got to hear. So thank you to everyone for that.
yeah. I want to thank everyone for opening our minds, because there are a lot of doubts we had, and I think most of it was addressed today. So thank you so much for that.
I think we all have become more hopeful today.
Yeah,
That's the most important thing.
I think, like Shreya said, not hopeful. We should not compromise only. As a hope, look, we are not going to look for anything lower. So, I mean, she corrected me, so I remembered. Like, hopeful to hai nahi ab.
I think
hope usually
often,
means you're lowering your standards. This is what I want. This is what I'm gonna get,
Right.
and
I
stick to that.
think
And you will
I
get it. It
Yeah,
may
Tat.
take time, but you will get it.
I think often what happens is we are so focused on our siblings sort of being labeled as disabled.
Right.
And we are very happy with labels in India. I mean, I think we love to classify ourselves as, like we mentioned, a
That's a
Manglik.
global thing.
yeah, Manglik and Brahmin and etc. and etc. And I think but the beauty of our country is that we are actually really diverse, yet it's unified. So it's pretty ironic that we continue to do that. And I think sometimes the what we classify our siblings as disabled extends to us as well. We feel disabled as well, and I think that is what I think that was what was in my mind all the time, that no, it's not possible that I can find someone, it's just not going to happen. And the fear of being at the receiving end of any rejection or putting my family through that was not something that I ever wanted to explore, because like all of you shared, looking after my sister was pivotal. If that didn't happen, then she was like the meaning for my life. So if that didn't happen, then there was no life. So I think sometimes we need to be a little more open minded as well.
True. Thank you all for your sharing your thoughts and opinions. So, Piyush, with your permission, do we log out? Are we still live? What are we doing?
Guruji,
Yeah,
please
like
speak.
we can end the meeting.
Okay, fine. So on that happy note,
Yeah, thank you so much for joining.
yes,
Thanks everyone.
Thank
It was
you. Thank
it
you.
was great.
bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.